know I know the thing.
The academic procession will begin now.
Good morning. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I am pleased to welcome you to the 2022 Commencement at Dartmouth College. This commencement takes place in the 252nd year of the college. It is my pleasure to introduce Aaron Brunner and Michaela Ng, co-presidents of the Native Americans at Dartmouth, for a special welcome.
Velina maika ko me ke aloha. O wau o Michaela ko ohinani ing no waialua o ahumaio he Hawaiio maua mo. Good morning, everyone. My name is Michaela Ng, and I'm a Native Hawaiian woman from Waialua Oahu.
Hishjay, Aaron Bunner Jaho Jifkaros. Muskogido is Momen Okmogi Oklahoma Legidos. Foswogi Milegida Momen Tlap Homidowa. Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron Bunner. I am Muskogee Creek from Okmulgee, Oklahoma. I am Bird Clan, and my tribal town is Tlaptlaco.
We gather here today on the unceded and ancestral homelands of the Abenaki people to celebrate our class of 2022. We wish to recognize the enslaved and disenfranchised Black and Indigenous peoples who helped build this town, school, and its infrastructure. We would like to thank the organizers of this event who put their time and energy into creating a space for celebration. We are also grateful for the custodial service and support professionals who have made this space usable for us.
This year also marks the 50th anniversary of the establishment of the Native American program and the Native American and Indigenous Studies Department. As we enter the 253rd year of a college founded for the education of Native youth, we want to recognize and honor the Indigenous labor that helped found the institution that we have all benefited from.
In 1743, a young Mohegan man, Samson Occam, was inspired by a Narragansett preacher, Samuel Niles, to pursue his education at Reverend Eleazar Wheelock's school. Occam would go on to become a minister and educator in Indian country.
The Reverends, Occam and Wheelock, agreed that the Mohegan preacher would travel to raise funds in Britain for the express purpose of educating Indigenous tribes on this continent. He accomplished this goal, but the college did not. Over the next 200 years, only 19 Native students graduated from the college before the 13th president of Dartmouth, John George Kimeny, reignited the original mission of the college.
Since then, the college has begun to rededicate itself to its original charter and has matriculated over 1,000 Native American students, more than all the other Ivy Leagues combined. The rededication to serving and educating Indigenous people was a worthwhile venture in Occam and Wheelock's time, and it remains a worthy venture today as Dartmouth begins to intentionally honor its history.
The aim of the college was to Christianize and civilize the Indian populations. However, the very things that were meant to be stripped from Indigenous peoples, our cultural identities, only made us stronger and this place better. It is the diversity of Indigenous knowledges and backgrounds that truly makes Dartmouth valuable.
This past April, we joined Dartmouth's delegation to witness the repatriation of Occam's papers to the Mohegan tribe. We hope Dartmouth continues to follow this path of making long-lasting, meaningful change to heal the injustices of this institution and show their Indigenous students and alumni that our voices matter and we will be heard by the college.
As we in this institution embark on our next chapters, we must remember that if we are willing to learn from one another and deal honestly and justly, we can enhance our communities at home, abroad, and here at Dartmouth. On the homelands of the Abenaki people, we are lucky to have had the privilege to learn from one another.
Best to all your futures, class of 2022.
Mado.
Mahalo. Thank you.
To our graduates, congratulations. So much has changed and challenged you in these past 4 years. Heck, so much has changed and challenged all of us. From the COVID pandemic to continued violence against Black, brown, indigenous, Asian, and queer people, the war in Ukraine, and political violence in too many other parts of our world, a deepening climate crisis, not to mention the death of loved ones lost much too soon. These events have affected all of us, and for some of you, they have been deeply personal, painful, and traumatic. Add to this the disruption of your Dartmouth career, and then trying to make up for lost time in these final months. There is a prayer that goes in part, Lord, it is night after a long day. What has been done has been done. What has not been done has not been done. Let it be. Let it be. Not in the sense that things don't matter, but that in this moment, whatever has been done, and whatever has not been done, has not been done. For right now, let it be. Be present in this moment, this wonderful moment. Because you made it to this moment. Limping perhaps like the biblical character Jacob after his wrestling match with an angel, but like Jacob, you have prevailed and you are stronger and wiser because of it. And so in gratitude, in deep gratitude for this moment, this ceremony, and you, our graduates, you who are beautiful and worthy and who give us so much hope, let us take a moment of silence to make sacred what we are about to do and to honor and give thanks for all those who have made it possible for us to do it. Amen.
Candidates for advanced degrees will be presented by their respective deans. Candidates, once raised by your marshal, please remain standing until you have crossed the platform and returned to your seats. A professional photographer is present, so we will appreciate the audience's cooperation in keeping the aisles clear. After the candidates for advanced degrees have been presented, the president will confer all degrees, and the recipients will come to the platform to receive congratulations from the president. Names of the graduate students will be read as they come forward. The candidates for the degree of Master of Business Administration will now be presented by Dean Matthew Slaughter.
Mr. President, the individuals standing before you have completed all requirements for the degree of Master of Business Administration. On behalf of the faculty of the Tuck School, I'm very proud to present these candidates for your conferring of this degree.
The candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Engineering, Master of Engineering Management, and Master of Engineering will now be presented by Dean Alexis Abramson.
Mr. President, the individuals now presented to you have completed all of the requirements for the degrees of Bachelor of Engineering, Master of Engineering Management, and Master of Engineering. At the request of the faculty of Thayer School of Engineering and on their behalf, I present them to you for the awarding of those degrees.
The candidates for the degrees of Master of Arts in Liberal Studies, Master of Arts, and Masters of Science will now be presented by Dean John Kuhl.
Mr. President, the Frank J. Guarini School of Graduate and Advanced Studies students standing before you have completed all of Dartmouth's requirements for the degrees of Master of Arts in Liberal Studies, Master of Arts, or Master of Science. At the request of the faculty and on their behalf, I proudly present them to you for the conferring of those degrees.
The candidates for the degree of Master of Public Health will now be presented by Dean Dwayne Compton.
Mr. President, the individuals now presented to you have completed all of the requirements of the Audrey and Theodore Geisel School of Medicine for the degree Master of Public Health. At the request of the faculty and on their behalf, I am proud to present these candidates for your conference of that degree.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Dartmouth College, I confer upon you the degrees witnessed by the testimonials you are about to receive and declare you entitled to all of the rights, honors, and special obligations pertaining thereto.
Will the degree recipients please come forward?
For the degree of Master of Business Administration, Hannah Sakini.
For the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Abigail Marie Brazil.
Ior Adare.
Samira Alfreda.
Vlad Azimerjov.
Simon Andrew Agnew.
Yu Chang.
Kieran John Ahern.
Zichen Chen.
Carolyn Almonte.
Michael Clement.
Omar Al-Said.
Barbara Demidshuk.
Peter Ammons.
Nicholas DeSimone.
Valerie Denise Andrade.
Aaron DePietro.
Garrett David Andreen.
Tara Ishwar.
Ethan Finn Alwes.
Sarah Geller.
Yaniva Avenano.
Yakir Gillis.
Adam Bailey.
Muhammad Hassan.
Sofia Blavova.
Ricardo Herrera Coto.
Bogdan Belanchevich.
Jacob Holzhauser.
Maynard Bebow.
Ashley Karen Maxwell Jones.
Sergio Babadilla.
Umair Khalil.
Theodore Samuel Bronk.
David Kagunda.
Ashley Brown.
Dimitri Kim.
Grayson Campbell.
Sergei Krasovsky.
Jason Carpio.
Hui Le.
Dylan Chan.
Melissa Leung.
Ian Cruz.
Alyssa Lowe.
Michael William James Colleen.
Nick Magnuson.
Jackson Oliver Danis.
Kavya Narayanan.
Brigitte Sorelli de la Cruz.
Jesse Nabris.
Joshua de la Cruz.
Yuta Ohashi.
Ivana Divich.
Sebastian Ospina.
Javier Esteban de Celis.
David Perez Maldonado Garza.
Jack Aaron Firestone.
Sam Rana.
Hannah McLean Gavin.
Patrick Rao.
Gustavo Gill.
Michael Ray.
Adam Peter Glick.
Edris Ahmad Samadi.
Francesco Van Guarnieri.
Raza Ullah Shah.
Clara Hahn.
Nia Silgardo.
Isaac Mitchell Hanover.
Maria Stefanoli Paeva,
Salim Hasairi,
Boshi Wang,
Nur Bassam Osama Hayek,
Max Wang,
Shane Hewitt,
Lily Yu,
Ashante Fernando Hill,
Candidates for the degree of the Master of Public Health. Suraj Kiran Patel.
Maxwell Julian Shaw
Leila
Holden,
Lukul. Jenna
Col-
Lynn Arnott.
Carlotta Hopkins Guerra,
Emily Cloud Beret.
Nate Houston,
Kedron Mia Bahrain.
Agan Hosha,
Eleanor Broy.
James R. Jones III,
Melissa Emily Chow.
Anush Khan,
Zishen Chen.
Michael P. Gillian,
Juliana Devanzo.
Adia Nilesh Kocha,
Kalichi Audrey Elucherie.
Aloafemi Toloa Kola Japutu,
Eleni Fenaraki.
Carolina Lago Penamari,
Henry Fang.
Kevin Daniel Larkin,
Mark Gabriel.
Emily Diane Martinez,
Sarah Geller.
Maria York Riss,
Marcia Faye Johnson.
Benjamin J. Martin,
Hutun Jamai.
Brian Mass,
Rohan Muchintala.
Sori Tice Miyamoto Magna Bosco,
Anais Ovaije.
Basil Garnido Montagnesi,
Ishani Kam Patel.
Glendora Ann Murphy,
Umair Raza Sheikh.
Tyler Neef,
Nigam Darshan Sheth.
Michael Barrett Noon III,
Kavya Venkunt.
Carter Person,
Max Wang.
Daniel James Fan,
Malet Akilu Yared.
Vanessa Erkan Pini,
Candidates for the degree of Master of Science. Cameron Casella.
Person Fan Yu Shiger Shah,
For the degree of Master of Healthcare Delivery Science. Yemi Arsuni.
Grace Q,
Kate Barrier.
Sheldon Him Anshu Shah,
Aaron Conway Beaumont.
Masoub Shakil,
Zachary Lane Burkett.
Suraj Shervatz,
Peter Costalis.
Tyler Stern,
Nicholas Didabo.
Garth Verdaflor,
Susan Denser.
Luis Daniel Verdi,
Laura Lornitzo.
Stipjan Verbich,
Kyle Madigan.
Abigail Wilson,
Anne Marie McCabe.
Derek Wilson, Yutong Shah, Yongjing Ivy Yan, Andrew Yang, Emerald Ju. For the degree of Master of Engineering Management, Ivan Mauricio Cornish Morales, Jadi Atanda, Liha Parthi, KF Gambril, Denise Kellish, Sneha Kumari, Alex Morgan, Joel Opio, Giselle Christine Perkowski, Peter Joseph Edward Unger. For the degree of Master of Engineering, Seth Winship Gilbane. Maxwell Brooks Rapier. Miari Rasa Onavani. Francis Joseph Sapienza. For the degree of Arts in Liberal Studies, Amanda Ann Skinner. Aaron Bounsu. Eli Barakian. Grant Hurd Edwards. Daniel Michael Moran. For the degree of Master of Arts, Tom Abi Samra. Maria Ida. Aidan Keys. Victoria Sophie Labensky. Tala Mashub. Emily Oliveira. Fenray Shaw. Ipu Shu. Tuknar Vatan Saber. Victoria Verts. For the degree of Master of Science, Charles John Carver. Rahul Babu. Roshan Babu. Ariana Michelle Haidari. Joseph Haig Hoshar. Siha Huang. Adel Islam. Shangshin Kun. Yon Liu. Robert Edmonds Price III. Yongxi. Mira Saraswati Ram. Vinay Ruganath. Shijie Shao. Alison Patricia Tong. Aitan Elgin Villiker. Zaishen Wang. Ur Yamar Yavuz. Zensu. Vala Zanali. Zhou Zhang. Xiyao Xiao. And for the degree of Master of Science in Engineering Science, Simon Ethan Oster.
The candidates for the degree of Doctor of Medicine will now be presented by Dean Dwayne Compton.
Mr. President, at the request of the faculty and on their behalf, I appear before you now to represent the 98 students who recently completed all of the requirements of the Audrey and Theodore Geisel School of Medicine for the degree Doctor of Medicine. That degree was conferred upon those individuals earlier this year on May 28th. We have 2 representatives of the graduating class participating today.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Dartmouth College, I congratulate the Doctor of Medicine degree recipients and declare them entitled to all of the rights, honors, and special obligations pertaining thereto.
Will the degree recipients please come forward?
For the degree Doctor of Medicine, Evan McNeil. Heidi Robbins.
Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy will now be presented by Dean John Cool.
Mr. President, The scholars now presented to you have completed all of the requirements of the Frank J. Guarini School of Graduate and Advanced Studies for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. At the request of the faculty and on their behalf, I now proudly present them to you for the conferring of that degree.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Dartmouth College, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and declare you entitled to all of the rights, honors, and special obligations pertaining thereto.
Will the degree recipients please come forward? In light of COVID, candidates who prefer not to shake hands need not do so. Hand sanitizer is available at the entrance to the stage.
For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Monica Espinoza. Prashant Anantharaman. Nicholas Blelek. James Francis Bush. Wei Chen. Xiao Hang Cheng. Huan Ping Huang. Anup Joshi. Michael Ko. Max Krakow. Joshua Levy. Fei Long Ma. Joseph Magliozzi. Xing Meng. Varun Mishra. Mehran Moradi Spitman. Athena Panatopoulou. Catherine Claire Pollock. Eveline Shafsma. Colin Timothy Sheehan. Hunter Ty Snyder. Robert Manuel Stoltz. Bonnie Sun. Shu Xia. Dylan Wang. Ronnie Julian Zipkin. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and Engineering Sciences, Alicia C. Everett. Wei Deng. Eldred Lee. Mikael Marwa. Alberto Ruiz La Riva. Zhou Young In.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy
Mr. President, on behalf of Dartmouth's faculties and pursuant to votes by the college's Board of Trustees, I present to you 7 remarkable individuals for conferring upon each of them the degree honoris causa. First, for the degrees Doctor of Humane Letters, Shobana and Sham Bhartia.
Shobana and Sham Bhartia, as successful business executives, you have modeled leadership and commitment in your chosen fields while inspiring a nation of visionary women and entrepreneurs, respectively, in India. Shobana, you joined the Hindustan Times as chief executive in 1986 at the age of 29, the first woman to become chief executive of a national newspaper in India, and one of the youngest to take on the role. Rising to chairperson and editorial director of HT Media Limited, you transformed what had been a single paper company into a successful media conglomerate. You sought to draw youth into public discourse, and you did, broadening the scope of the paper while using multimedia platforms to reach entirely new demographics in entirely new geographies. In doing so, you not only educated and informed your citizenry, you helped shape public opinion in the world's largest democracy. Sham, over the course of your 4 decades, you have earned a reputation as an astute business executive with an eye for opportunity. Together with your brother Harry, you co-founded the Jubilant Bardia Group, where as chairman, you grew a family business into a highly successful international conglomerate. You began in chemicals, transitioned to pharmaceuticals, and expanded to international food retail, proving that your business acumen and entrepreneurial spirit transcend industry. With 4 companies listed on the India Stock Exchanges, you've led and inspired a global workforce of more than 46,000 employees while demonstrating a deep commitment to corporate social responsibility. Together, Shobana and Sham, you are the ultimate power couple, and you've used that power for good. Shobana, through your service in Parliament and advocacy for women and education, and Sham, through the Jubilant Bardia Foundation and your commitment to cultivating a new generation of social entrepreneurs. For your outstanding achievements in business and in service to your country and communities, Dartmouth is proud to award you each the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Thank you so much. Okay, we're about to be headed.
Mr. President, for the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, Kul Gautam.
There's your class of 72. Kul Gautam, as a distinguished diplomat, development professional, and human rights activist, you have proven yourself to be the world's ultimate citizen leader, fighting poverty and injustice, fiercely advocating for peace, and significantly improving the welfare of children worldwide. Born in 1949 in a small village in Nepal, you learned English in part by playing Scrabble with Peace Corps volunteers. When one of those volunteers, a Dartmouth 65 named Zachary Hahn, inspired your dream of studying at Dartmouth, you made that dream a reality. An exceptionally gifted student, you became the first Nepali ever to be admitted to the college, arriving in Hanover in 1968. You graduated just 3 years later with a degree in international relations that would serve as the foundation for your life's work. You began your career as a program officer at UNICEF in 1973, rising to become both Deputy Executive Director of UNICEF and Assistant Secretary General of the United Nations in the year 2000. In your 35 years with the organization, you not only played a central role in providing life-saving vaccines to the world's most vulnerable children, but increased access to education for girls and laid the groundwork for today's Sustainable Development Goals. True to your roots, you gave back to your home country as Special Advisor to the Prime Minister of Nepal on International Affairs, and have continued to actively promote human rights, socioeconomic development, democracy, and good governance in Nepal's civil society. For your belief in a hopeful future, particularly for the children of the world, and for your lifelong commitment to making that future possible as a humanitarian of the highest order, it is our privilege to award you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. And Cool has a cheering section back there with the class of 72. So.
Mr. President, for the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, Claudia Golden.
Claudia Golden, as a pioneer labor economist and economic historian, your leadership on topics ranging from immigration to women in the workforce has placed you amongst the most influential and insightful American economists working in the world today. Arriving at Cornell University as a rather precocious student in 1963, you were invigorated to learn just how little you knew. With an insatiable thirst for knowledge, you drank in the liberal arts, eventually discovering economics, the field you would opt to pursue. Under the mentorship of the great Alfred Kahn and later Gary Becker and Robert Fogel, you excelled in your own right, earning your PhD in economics from the University of Chicago in 1972. Best known for your research into the rise of women in the labor force and its impact on the US economy, you continually look to the past to better understand the present. Likening yourself to a detective sleuthing for clues, it's the intensity and thoroughness of your investigations that set you apart. Your 1990 book, Understanding the Gender Gap, An Economic History of American Women, remains the seminal work on the reasons behind the gender pay gap. For nearly 30 years, you served as director of the Development of the American Economy program at the National Bureau of Economic Research. In 1990, you became the first woman to be granted tenure in the economics department at Harvard, where you continue to teach and delight in discovery alongside your students. For your lifelong contributions to the field of labor economics and your endless pursuit of answers to life's biggest and most complex questions, Dartmouth is proud to award you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Thank you.
Mr. President, for the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, Charles E. Haldeman.
Ed Haldeman, as a principled business executive, your distinctive approach to leadership and passion for public service have earned you a reputation for integrity, excellence, and impact, both in the financial management industry and in the world beyond. Born and raised in Philadelphia by hardworking parents, You arrived on the Dartmouth campus in 1966, aspiring to a career in medicine. But when Professor Colin Campbell made economics come alive, you opted for a different path. After graduating summa cum laude from Dartmouth in 1970, you continued your studies at Harvard, simultaneously earning a JD and an MBA in 1974. For the next 35 years, you applied your mastery of finance and firm understanding of the law to a series of successive leadership roles. First at Cook & Bieler, then at United Asset Management, and subsequently at Delaware Investments. In leading a successful turnaround of Putnam Investments as CEO in the aftermath of a trading scandal, honesty, transparency, and employee focus became your calling cards. In 2009, you took on the daunting task of leading the Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation, the government-sponsored mortgage company known as Freddie Mac. Your success in stabilizing the company at a time of great uncertainty following the 2008 housing crisis solidified your status as a trusted leader, even in the most tumultuous times. You applied the same ethics and rigor in service to your alma mater as chair of the Dartmouth Board of Trustees, courageously leading the college through a challenging reorganization of board governance. For your dedication to public service in the broadest sense, for your commitment to the highest ethical standards in your work, and for your exceptional organizational leadership, especially in trying times, Dartmouth is proud to award you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Mr. President, for the degree Doctor of Science, Fiona A. Harrison.
Fiona Harrison, as an award-winning astrophysicist and distinguished teacher scholar, your path-breaking work has led to dramatic and revealing images that are significantly advancing human understanding of the evolution of our galaxy. A self-described underconfident undergraduate at Dartmouth in the 1980s, you developed a fascination with physics when a first-year physics course taught by Bruce Pipes sparked you to want to understand the weird ways the universe works, in your words. From that point forward, you never looked back and only looked up, asking questions and seeking answers to the mysteries of outer space. In 2005, you were named Principal Investigator for NASA's Nuclear Spectroscopic Telescope Array, NuSTAR, deploying the first focusing telescope to view the universe in the high-energy X-ray band. Launched precisely 10 years ago tomorrow, NuSTAR set out to better understand the dynamics of black holes, exploding stars, and other cosmic phenomena. With unprecedented sensitivity and spectral and imaging resolutions, its findings were revelatory. Only the second woman ever to lead a NASA mission, you've helped to set the agenda for US-based astronomy and astrophysics research, and your distinguished career has served as an inspiration to women in science everywhere. You are a constant source of encouragement for your colleagues at Caltech, and your leadership and mentorship of students in pushing the frontiers of knowledge are creating an entirely new generation of trailblazers in your field. For your innovation and collaboration in developing new instrumentation to better understand the universe, for your keen observational work in the high-energy space, and for your exceptional contributions to education and new knowledge creation, Dartmouth is proud to award you the honorary degree of Doctor of Science.
Mr. President, for the degree Doctor of Science, David Newman.
David Newman is an aerospace engineer, administrator, and educator. You pioneered technological innovations that are paving the way for exploration and helping to bring a human mission to Mars within reach. Watching the moon landing as a 5-year-old inspired you to dream big, and before long you were propelled like a rocket from your home in Montana into a career in space. With advanced degrees from MIT in aero and astronomics, technology and policy, and aerospace biomedical engineering, you joined the MIT faculty in 1993, driven to make a difference. Believing that a successful human mission to Mars would require new technology and strong leadership, you made it your purpose to provide both. Over the course of 2 decades, you led an interdisciplinary team in developing a revolutionary new spacesuit known as the biosuit. Employing advanced materials in streamlined design, it significantly enhances mobility and flexibility over conventional gas-pressured spacesuits. Soon thereafter, you were confirmed by the US Senate to the #2 post at NASA, becoming only the 3rd woman to hold title of Deputy Administrator. Throughout your distinguished career, including most recently as Director of the MIT Media Lab, you have championed the role of diversity and inclusion in fueling innovation, regularly bringing people from all walks of life and disparate disciplines together to achieve technological and scientific breakthroughs. For your outstanding achievements in aerospace engineering, and for your visionary leadership of our country's space program, and for your passion and commitment to exploration, education, and innovation in the broadest sense, Dartmouth is proud to award you the honorary degree of Doctor of Science.
Mr. President, for the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson, as a record-breaking NFL quarterback, community-minded philanthropist, and successful entrepreneur, your outstanding dedication to both society and your sport has made you one of the most admired and celebrated athletes of our time. With strong family values, a respect for education, and an unparalleled work ethic instilled in you by your parents, you are destined to make a difference. So when your father posed the simple question, "Why not you?" you immediately took it to heart. You tossed your first football with your father at the age of 4. 20 years later, you were named NFL Rookie of the Year. A 9-time Pro Bowler, you hold the record for most wins by an NFL quarterback through 10 seasons and successfully led the Seattle Seahawks to back-to-back Super Bowls, defeating the Denver Broncos in 2014 to help the team to its first Super Bowl championship in franchise history. Got some fans out there. Your accomplishments on the field are surpassed only by your achievements off the field. The Why Not You Foundation you launched with your wife and partner Sierra in 2014 has raised over $10 million for pediatric cancer research to date and provided underprivileged youth around the Seattle area with expanded educational opportunities. In 2021, you opened the Why Not You Academy, a tuition-free charter school that prepares students for a lifetime of success, and your inspirational picture book titled Why Not You is empowering children of all ages to actively pursue their dreams. In recognition of your outstanding service to the community, the NFL presented you with its most prestigious honor, naming you the 2020 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year. for your poise, leadership, and sportsmanship, both on and off the field, for your commitment to improving the lives of others, and for your belief in the power of positivity in helping people reach their full potential. Dartmouth is proud to award you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Please address the graduates.
Well, I feel like I'm in uniform right now, you know? It's exciting. Well, first of all, thank you so much for that introduction. Usually I get introduced as Sierra's husband, so that was cool. Yeah. And let me start by answering the question that is on so many of your minds. Yes, she is here too. She's back over there. Yeah, level up, level up. So, you know, President Hanlon, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, honored guests, thank you for inviting me today. What an honor to be here today. And most of all, congratulations to the class of 2022. Now, my father, Harry Wilson, Dartmouth class of 1977, had a favorite poem, and it's by Langston Hughes, Mother to Son. And maybe some of you know it, but he memorized this poem, and he would recite it all the time to my brother, my sister, and me, and he would do the voice because you gotta do the voice. He'd say, well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, in places with no carpet on the floor, bare. On one hand, graduates, you don't need me or even Langston Hughes to tell you life isn't always easy or fair. Today, you're graduating from an incredible school, but these 4 years probably weren't the typical college experience you imagined. Shutting down when the pandemic hit, missing your sophomore summer, figuring out what the heck a Zoom call is, and then coming back here, not just bringing this campus back to life, but making it better and stronger and fairer than ever. See, every graduating class has an achievement to celebrate, but you, class of 2022, you did something really special. You all should be so proud of that. And you didn't reach that moment alone. You had people, parents, you had family members, faculty, coaches, staff, friends, mentors, people who loved you enough to push you harder and further than you could ever imagine you could go. They're celebrating with you, and they deserve a big round of applause. See, the thing is, this is their special day too. And I'll be honest, this is also a special day for me, because in a very, very real way, Dartmouth made me the person I am today. See, I'm not a Dartmouth graduate myself, that's for sure, and I know nobody's perfect, but 3 of my uncles are. Uncle John, class of 1980, Uncle Richard, class of 1985, and Uncle Ben, class of 1973, and he's here today. Uncle Ben, can you please stand up for me? That's the one and only Uncle Ben. And then there's my dad, Harrison Benjamin Wilson III, Harry, AKA HB Productions, number 29. See, this year, along with his classmate, your president, Phil Hanlon, right here, you can give him a round of applause. My dad, HB Productions, 29, and Phil, they would have celebrated their 45th reunion, and yet I bet my dad's Dartmouth experiences wasn't so much different from yours. See, he explored the White Mountains with the Outing Club, shivering his way across the green during those long New Hampshire winters. He ate mile-high apple pie at Lou's, and I went to Lou's today, and I may have had a little bite of Lou's apple pie, who knows, but it's pretty darn good. And my dad, he majored in history. See, his independent study on busing and school integration, and spent late nights studying in the Baker Library right here behind me. Now, he never told me this directly, but he also probably played a little pong too. And I bet he was good. So to say my dad was my role model would have been an understatement. See, he played 2 sports in college. He played football and baseball, just like me. And people thought he was too short, sound familiar, to make an impact on the football field. So he walked onto the team and earned his spot. In fact, one of his teammates was your coach and is your coach, Buddy Tevens, who I'm proud to call a mentor and a friend. My dad, he loved to compete. He loved winning. Senior year as a wide receiver, he set the single season record for yards and catches. He was all Ivy and all East, baby. And a lot of what I do on Sundays looks like it comes naturally, but I learned a lot from that from my dad. My brother, too, he's over here as well. So my brother taught me a few things. But what my dad taught me, the way was his experience at Dartmouth transformed not just his life, but mine. It goes way beyond the field. Now, just to be clear, I'm not giving my dad all the credit. My mom, Tammy Wilson, now she's the best. She sacrificed daily, late nights working at the hospital, tons of prayer. She helped me reach my dreams. But standing here at my father's alma mater, looking out over this place that helped him become the man he was, it's impossible not to think about his legacy. And living with legacy is what I want to talk to you about today. Now, legacy might seem like a strange topic for a commencement speech because, this is your beginning. You're just starting out. But graduates, if there's one thing I hope to accomplish today, it's to challenge you not to wait to think about your legacy and what that will be. But because legacy isn't just something you leave behind, it's something you build, something you add to every day. My dad, he didn't get as many days as he deserved. I miss him so much, but because he lived with legacy, he's never really gone. I hear his voice all the time. So as you leave this campus and build your own legacies, I want to tell you a few things my dad said to me. Things he knew would one day be a part of his legacy. Things he still says to me even now. Let's go back about 20 years. I'm in 10th grade, 14 or 15 years old, growing up in Richmond, Virginia, and I've been playing high school football. And I got to say, I was pretty good. I was all state, And I know I've got skill and all that, but having skill isn't the same as having a dream. Anyway, one week, my dad and we take a flight down to Peyton Manning Passing Academy in Thibodaux, Louisiana. And when I say Thibodaux, Louisiana, I'm talking about real down south, like real down south, okay? And so, now when we get there, we're in this crummy, terrible, terrible hotel. And the only room they have is right next to the laundry room. So you can hear the washing machines going all night. Smells kind of funky. The good times. But my first day of camp, they picked 12 kids who get to work with the one and only Peyton Manning, and I get picked. Peyton tells me, of course in his voice, "You can really spin that ball for a little guy." Now, that night, my dad takes me out to this hole-in-the-wall gumbo spot. Louisiana gumbo. Real spicy type gumbo. And we stay there for a while because, of course, we don't want to go back to that crummy hotel. And we're talking, and he says, you could play against the Manning brothers one day. You could play in the NFL. And I was a confident kid, but I must have given him a look like, "Dad, are you sure?" Because he looked me right in the eye and said, "Why not you? Why not you?" Class of 2022, I have a theory that we're all born with gifts, with skills, but we're not always born with dreams. We need someone to plant that seed, light that spark. And my dad's way of lighting that spark was a simple 3-word question. I wanted to play 2 sports in NC State, and people said, "There's no way you could do that." But I could hear my dad's voice in my head, "Why not you?" Graduating in 3 years, why not you? Staying at quarterback instead of switching positions, why not you? Building businesses, why not you? Playing in the NFL, winning a Super Bowl, why not you? Seeing this hot, long-legged singer named Sierra for the first time in a music video, her little smirk of a smile, come on, Russ. Come on, why not you? So, graduates, I'm not here to tell you every dream is going to come true for you. My dreams of being like Mike at my height, Those didn't come true. But I am here to tell you that every dream is going to come true for someone. And why shouldn't that someone be you? Asking yourself, why not you, is part of what I mean by living with legacy. See, I've been lucky enough to meet all kinds of people who are living the life they've always wanted, but they have different goals, but they reach those goals in different ways. But there's one thing they have in common. They all believed it was possible. Throughout your life, you're going to have plenty of chances to give up on your dreams. I can't tell you how many opportunities I've had to quit. But if you got that voice in your head saying, why not you, that helps you keep going. And it helps you keep working. Because if you believe all things are possible, well, that still means you got to put the work in to make it happen. Why not you is a winner's mentality. It's about dreaming and delivering. It's a question that doesn't just make you confident, it makes you try harder. My dad was right. 11 years after he asked me that question in a restaurant in Louisiana, eating that spicy gumbo, I played my first game against Peyton Manning. And it's funny how life comes full circle, because now that I'm in Denver with the Broncos, Peyton's working with me every day and making me better and better every day. Because I still have dreams. I want to win more Super Bowls, build more businesses, and own an NFL team one day. And as I go out and pursue my dreams, I'll keep hearing that same question over and over and over again. Why not you? Now, as you can probably tell at this point, my dad was a pretty confident guy. But something I loved about him, something I know he worked at and worked hard to pass on to his children, is that he knew confidence and humility. Confidence and humility can go hand in hand. I remember one time my dad and I were driving back to Richmond from my grandfather's house in Norfolk, and it's 2 a.m. and I'm in the passenger seat asleep, knocked out cold. My mouth is hanging wide open. I got drool all over the window. And my dad wakes me up, banging on my shoulder, just, son. What does this mean to you? There's a king in every crowd. Now, I've got to be honest. It took me a while to figure that one out, but it stuck with me. I have a wristband I wear every day. And when I look down at it, I read those words my dad said to me, a king in every crowd. So let me tell you what that means to me now. First, I'm a Christian, so for me personally, a king or queen in every crowd means that whatever I do, God is watching. But no matter how or what you believe, that idea still matters. You should make every decision, live every moment as though someone you care about is paying attention. My dad used to say, you never know what scout or GM is watching you. But then he'd say, and the most important thing he'd say is, you never know what little kid is watching you too. That's the other part of a king or queen in every crowd. No matter where you go, no matter how big you get, the most important person in the room isn't you. It's the person who you can serve. See, there's nothing wrong with ambition. Ambition can be a good thing. And I'd imagine a school like Dartmouth, we've got some ambitious people out here. But your ambition has to be in service of something or someone. That's what makes it worthwhile. See, I think about this all the time. I want to win many more Super Bowls as possible, but that's important to me. But what matters even more is whether I'm able to reach the next group of kids sitting in the passenger seat next to their moms or dads talking about their dreams. Did I inspire them enough? The kids sitting in the 300 section all the way in the nosebleeds, can I inspire them enough? Can I show them that they can do anything? No matter what you do after you leave this campus, your life, your legacy will be defined not by the accomplishments you list on your resume or the goals you achieve, but by the impact you have. My dad always used to say, son, it's not the day you're born or the day you die. It's the hash mark in between. How are the people around you affected? What are they going to say about you? More importantly, what do you want them to say about you? That's what living with legacy is all about. Now, so far the stories I've shared with you about me and my dad have been car ride stories, the good times, going to camps and games, jamming out to the 70s and 80s CDs we used to make, Elton John, Earth, Wind & Fire, Teddy Pendergrass. I love me some Teddy P. Turn off the lights. those moments of pure joy, that's part of legacy for sure. But this last story is a little heavier. It's almost exactly 12 years ago, and I go to visit my father in the hospital room. And as you know by now, my dad was a proud man, an athlete, a fighter, a dreamer. But now, after years of complications from diabetes, he doesn't have much time left, and he can barely speak. He's lying in that hospital bed all by himself, and I sit next to him, and I take his hand, and I start singing one of his favorite songs, Marvin Sapp, Never Would Have Made It. I never would have made it. I never could have made it without you. I would have lost it all. But now I see how you were there for me, and I can say I'm stronger. Tears are coming down his face, and tears are coming down my face, and then he says to me, through all that pain, he says to me, just remember, your name carries weight. It's one of the last things he ever told me. Your name carries weight. And graduates, that's the last piece of living with legacy that I want to talk about today. Because what my dad was telling me in that moment was act as though you matter. To matter, it can be a scary thing. Sometimes it's easier to pretend we don't matter, to go through life as though our actions and inactions carry no weight. But they do. What you do, the little stuff and the big stuff, will have an impact that touches the people closest to you and ripples out further than you'll ever realize. And part of your job as a person on this earth is to never forget that your name carries weight. You don't have to live your life knowing all the answers, but you do. You do have to live your life trying to answer the right questions. How many people can you help? Are you able to love amid storms? Are you able to care for people when they have nothing? Can you act out of a sense of servitude without asking for anything? See, if you can do that, then all good things will come. A few weeks after I sang to my dad in that hospital room, I was back in there with my mom. My dad couldn't speak, but he could hear us. And at one point, I leave the room, and my mom and I go in the hallway to talk for about a half an hour. And before we come back in, I can hear his EKG right from the hallway, and it's going beep, beep, beep. And I take one step in the room, and I say, Dad, I'm here. Then all of a sudden, the line goes flat. Beep. It was one of the hardest moments of my life, but I knew even though that seemed like that was the end, it was really just the beginning and not the end. And I think my dad knew it too. Legacy. Class of 2022, life for you won't be no crystal stair. There'll be tacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. Your journey will be unpredictable. But I know it will be amazing. And if you ask yourself, why not me? If you remember the king and queen in every crowd, if you carry yourself as though your name carries weight, then, just then, you'll live a life and build a legacy you can be proud of. Thank you. Congratulations to the class, Dartmouth class of 2022.
I now take this opportunity to ask all of you to join me in welcoming back on this day the 50th year reunion class, the great class of 1972. Welcome back. Will all the graduates and the class of 1972 please rise and join the heirs in the singing of Dartmouth Undying.
Dartmouth, there is no music for our singing, no words to bear the burden of our praise. Yet how can we be silent and remember the splendor and the fullness of her days? Who can forget her soft September sunsets? Who can forget those hours that passed like dreams? The long cool shadows floating on the campus, the drifting beauty where the twilight streams. Who can forget her sharp and misty mornings, the clanging bells, the crunch of feet on snow? Her sparkling noons, the crowding into commas, the long white afternoons, the twilight glow. See, by the light of many thousand sunsets, Dartmouth undying, like a vision starts. Dartmouth, the gleaming, dreaming walls of Dartmouth, miraculously builded in our hearts. Miraculously builded in our hearts.
Please be seated. Dean of the Faculty, Elizabeth Smith, will now present the valedictorians.
This year, we are in a fortunate position of recognizing 13 graduating seniors with outstanding academic records. These students share the honor of having the highest academic ranking of the graduating class of 2022 and are being honored as valedictorians of the class. Please join me in recognizing our valedictorians, each of whom has earned a GPA of 4.0. Our first valedictorian, Clayton Scott Bass, a major in mathematical data science from Harrison, New York. Our second valedictorian, Kira Dennehy, a major in geography from Simsbury, Connecticut. Our third valedictorian, Ana Julia dos Santos Furtado, majoring in Hispanic Studies from Santa Rita do Passo, Brazil. Our fourth valedictorian, Archita Nitya Harathi, an economics and mathematics double major from Portland, Oregon. Our fifth valedictorian, Erin Lynn Lee, also a double major in economics and mathematics from Berwyn, Pennsylvania. Our sixth valedictorian, Mien Thuy Nguyen, a computer science major from Hanoi, Vietnam. Our seventh valedictorian, Max Pumilia, a double major in religion and history from Greenwood Village, Colorado. Our eighth valedictorian, Matthew Conway Roth, a computer science major from Wilmette, Illinois. Our ninth valedictorian, Christina Gabrielle Stromer, majoring in Hispanic Studies and Intercultural Rhetoric from Portland, Oregon. Our 10th valedictorian, Kimberly Minen Tan, with a double major in Engineering Sciences and Philosophy from Singapore, Singapore. Our 11th valedictorian, Victor Yuhong Wu, a Government, Environmental Studies, and Quantitative Social Science triple major from Hercules, California. Our 12th valedictorian, Jason Zavras, majoring in Quantitative Social Science and Chemistry modified with Biology from Dover, Massachusetts. Our final valedictorian, Melissa Alexandra Barales Lopez, is a double major in Government and Hispanic Studies from Los Angeles, California. Melissa will now present the valedictory to the college.
President Hanlon, members of the Board of Trustees, honored guests, and fellow members of the class of 2022. For those of you who may not know me, allow me to begin by sharing a short anecdote. This story takes place in the Los Angeles airport in early September of 2018. I was getting ready to fly to Dartmouth to begin the first term of my freshman year. My parents and 5 younger siblings accompanied me to the airport, walked me to the security gate, and hugged me goodbye. I put on a brave face as I walked towards TSA, as I took off my jacket and my shoes with a giant smile plastered on my face, and calmly collected my bags. I waved one last goodbye to my family from across the room, turned the corner, and promptly broke down into tears. Picture a young woman publicly weeping at an airport coffee bean cafe, and that's pretty much the scene I made. In truth, I was terrified about coming to Dartmouth. As a first-generation college student, I wasn't sure what to expect. I didn't know what going to college meant. I was afraid that I was underprepared, and I questioned whether I even deserved a spot at an Ivy League school. Before stepping foot on campus, I felt like an imposter. I have since learned that I wasn't the only person experiencing these emotions. Many of my friends slowly revealed feeling this way throughout much of freshman fall and beyond, and I'm sure many of us here today have experienced self-doubt in one space or another, or have believed we don't belong despite our hard work and effort. Overcoming these feelings is a challenge, and in all honesty, I struggled for a long time to find a home at Dartmouth. However, certain qualities of our school helped me create a sense of belonging, and it's these qualities that I wish to discuss today. The first is Dartmouth's strong and profound sense of community. Perhaps that has something to do with living in the middle of the woods, isolated from much of the world, but Dartmouth is exceptionally good at fostering community. For me, community is a first-generation office, headed by the incredible Jay Davis. This office works tirelessly to ensure that first-generation and low-income students at Dartmouth have the resources they need to succeed. Jay has built a space for students like me to voice their anxieties, and in turn receive strength and collaboration from our peers. I have developed lifelong friendships with other FICEP students, and it is here that I have found a home. Thank you, Jay, and everyone at Dartmouth who has invested in the first-generation office to make it a thriving support system. The second feature of Dartmouth that has made me feel at home is the endless support and guidance offered by faculty and staff. Over my 4 years, I observed professors and teaching assistants invest countless hours in the education of Dartmouth students. I have seen entire language departments adapt to online teaching, somehow managing to make drills engaging over Zoom. I witnessed professors exercise compassion and understanding throughout much of the pandemic, especially as students face varying circumstances at home. I had the privilege of meeting professors who challenged me academically. They encouraged me to pursue research, supported me as I wrote my thesis, and made me feel like my voice mattered just as much as anyone else's. I am immensely grateful for the faculty and the staff who have prioritized my academic growth and that of my peers. They played a critical role in making Dartmouth my home. Finally, I would like to mention the admirable labor done by so many of us here to create a more inclusive and equitable Dartmouth. I am thinking about groups like the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, who strive to make engineering a more accessible profession for Latinx students and other students of color. I am thinking about organizations like Co-Fired and Forza, who are working to meet the needs of DACA recipients and undocumented immigrant community members and foreign workers at Dartmouth and in the Upper Valley. I am thinking about the Student Worker Collective, who successfully unionized to give more bargaining power to student workers on campus. Truly incredible work. These groups and so many more are truly transforming Dartmouth. It's hard to create change from the inside, and it takes time, but I have worked with passionate students who are deeply committed to fostering community for all. I found community in these spaces myself, and I thank everyone in attendance who has dedicated their time to the values of inclusivity and social justice. I am proud to graduate today among these dedicated student leaders. I want to end by giving a heartfelt thanks to my family. My siblings have been my biggest supporters throughout these 4 years. Thank you for your words of encouragement, for your confidence in me, for all the kindness you have shown. Words cannot begin to describe all the gratitude I have for you. I also want to thank my parents, who are the hardest working people I know and who inspire me immensely. Mamá y papá, muchas gracias por todo, por cada sacrificio y cada esfuerzo de su parte. Su apoyo es la razón por la que estoy aquí hoy. My mom always says to me, Melissa, walk forward with confidence. I entered Dartmouth scared and full of doubt. That young woman at the airport coffee bean cafe lacked confidence in herself. 4 years later, however, with the support of friends, family, faculty, I walk onto this stage confident and with a profound sense of belonging. So, I now relay the same message to all of you. As we enter the next phase of our lives and face whatever the world has in store for us, let's do so with our heads held high and with utter confidence in our abilities and what we bring to the table. I am so excited to see all that we accomplish. Thank you, and congratulations again to the class of 2022.
The candidates for the degree Bachelor of Arts will now be presented by the Dean of Faculty, Elizabeth Smith. I would like to remind the audience that a professional photographer is present and to request that the audience please cooperate in keeping the aisles clear. Will the head marshal please raise the senior class for the conferring of their degrees?
Mr. President, the individuals now presented to you have completed all of the requirements of Dartmouth College for the degree of Bachelor of Arts. At the request of the faculty and on their behalf, I am proud to present 1,050 candidates to you for the conferring of these degrees.
Members of the class of 2022, are you ready? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Dartmouth College, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts and declare you entitled to all the rights, honors, and special obligations pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Will the first two rows of the inside sections remain standing, and the rest of the rows please be seated until it is your turn to approach the platform. Names of the graduating seniors will be read as they come forward. In light of COVID, candidates who prefer not to shake hands need not do so. Hand sanitizer is available at the entrance to the stage.
Juan Carlos Quinones Cepeda.
Jaden Kiara Smith.
Awo Homa Edu.
Mariana Peñalosa Morales.
Ezina Elizabeth Anyozie.
Daniel Barrett Gold.
Rami A. Hana.
Erin Nicole Bunner.
Jason Zavris.
Mikola Ka'ahinani Ing.
Melissa Alexandra Morales Lopez.
Taurus Terrell Samuels Jr.
Clayton Scott Bass.
Vitalia D. Williams.
Kira Marie Dennehy.
Victor Yuhong Wu.
Anna Julia Dos Santos Furtado.
Kimberly Menon Tan.
Archita Nitya Harafi.
Christina Gabrielle Stromer.
Aaron Lynn Lee.
Matthew Conway Roth.
Mien Tui Nguyen.
Alexander Richard Jewu Klein.
Max Ashok Pumilia.
Ayajan Abdiken.
Lanin Ray Abbott.
Jimena Abejon Fuertes.
John Abernathy.
Agampodi I. Abisakara.
Rachel Emma Ackerman.
Alejandra Rose Umpinko Ada.
Toby David Adadara.
Veronica Lee Alborn.
Obunikekam Agba.
Kevin John Alexander.
Daniel Baseme Akili.
Hassan Ali.
Virgil Samuel Alfred.
Jake Allen.
Shadi Ali Ahmad.
Ricardo T. Almazan Jr.
Garrick Kurtenbach Allison.
Diana Alvarado Sayon.
Grace Campbell Alston.
Emily K. Andrews.
Pedro Amaya Mendoza.
Emily Appenzeller.
Charles Dayton Einkeny.
Juliana Arevalos Bordeaux.
Sophia Marie Orana Cabrera.
Gustav Arvidsson.
Elena Jadwe Arnold.
Henry Hills Asher.
Stella A. Isa.
Gilles Ashu Asi.
Benjamin Mayer Ashley.
Ariel Atias.
Calvin Thomas Atkinson.
Madison Marie Augusto.
Brianna Michelle Aubrey.
Claire Elizabeth Azar.
Elise Vinay Avila.
Ann Gardner Bailey.
Hannah Hakil Baspa.
Jordan Oakley Balon.
Sophia Lily Bailey.
Ellie Baker.
Zachary Bear.
Alexander Backus.
Samuel Hatch Baker.
Christina Barris.
Siddharshan Balasubramani.
Max Thomas Barrett.
Anshul Burnwall.
Charles Thomas Bateman.
Juliana Bastos Dimilu.
Ariel Shem Beek.
James Gilbert Bauman.
Annika K. Begley.
Ileana Marie Beck.
James Munford Bell.
Fatima Begum.
Catherine Ellis Bennett.
Guillermo Ander Beltran.
Julia Barr Berman.
Victoria Elise Bergstein.
Madeline Juliette Bernardeau.
Erica Marisol Bermeo Matute.
Maxwell Bessler.
Matthew Tyler Baroza.
Shira Tan Bala.
Joshua Thomas Betts.
Twisha Bardwaj.
Naina Bulla.
Gabrielle Joy Billing.
Tanner Robert Bielefield Pruitt.
Callan Ray Blacksmith.
Sarah Bernice Birnbaum.
Olivia Roseman Boyce.
William Renato Martinez Baffa.
Kate E. Boydston.
Anais Madeline Boucher Browning.
Russell Thomas Brandon.
Alexandra Bramson.
Hallie A. Brody.
Abigail Osher Bressler.
Madeline Grace Brown.
Carly Kim Brown.
Thomas A. Brown.
Maeve Alexandria Brown.
Catherine Brundage.
Angel Beth Bianca Bruna.
Charles Frederick Budd III.
Edward Buxer.
Hannah Joy Bird.
Alexander Paul Budnick.
Alexander Parkman Burnley.
Axel Nils Berlin.
Foster Burnley.
Eloise Rosemary Byrne.
Sonal Butala.
Angela Elizabeth Burns.
Jacqueline Dalton Sarah Byrne.
Singhyun Singh Cho Bian.
Joshua alias Kalianos.
Marco Antonio Cabrera Aguilar.
Jael Jean Sawyer Campbell.
Isabel Schaefer Callahan.
Christopher Salvatore Candelora.
Hayden Allen Compose.
Helen Liu Shao.
Kiera Cannon.
Lane Elizabeth Carball.
Benjamin Joseph Cape.
Michael James Karlowitz Jr.
Christopher Cardillo.
Frank Kenneth Carr IV.
Maxwell James Lowe Carmichael.
Christopher Cartwright.
Ryan William Carroll.
Ryan Patrick Cashman.
Iosaf Leonardo Casas Gutierrez.
Miles Francis Castoro.
Alessandra Sofia Casiano Salinas.
Peter Chabot.
Andrew Nicholas Cave.
Justin Wonyoung Chang.
Akash K. Shadalavada.
Isabella Nicole Chow.
Sophia Racy Chang Stouffer.
Emily A. Charland.
Siddharth R. Shari.
Bowen Chen.
Albert D. Chen.
Esme Chen.
Charity Anna Chen.
Kevin Chen.
Jacob M. Chen.
Michelle Chen.
Kristen L. Chen.
Winston Liu Chen.
Raymond Gu Chen.
Chibuza Margaret Chiwike.
Jonathan Cho.
Jeffrey J. Cho.
Daniel H. Cho.
Joseph Chong.
John Junhee Cho.
Dae Lim Chong.
Aditya Ashith Chowdhury.
Sean Clancy.
Benjamin Joseph Satow.
Helen Love Cliff.
Wesley Thomas Clark.
Deborah Cabone.
Connor William Cole.
Gavin O'Donnell Colbert.
Sylvester Elom Koich.
Jared Robert Cole.
Darren Scott Colby.
Caroline Collins Pisano.
Joseph Warren Coleman IV.
Nicole Cherie Connard.
Joseph Collum.
Catherine Antonia Cooney.
Marie Cohn Le Beaumont.
Casimiro Cosme.
Jacqueline Corona.
Cecily Brooks Davidson Craighead.
Zachary John Cuvion.
Connor Craven Falcon.
Conrad Michael Kranz.
Scott Ryan Crawshaw.
Robert Lovett Crawford Jr.
Ray Christ.
London Crenshaw.
Fiona Hester Cronin.
Robert Crockett III.
Crawford's Crooks.
James F. Cronin.
Kathy Sway.
Alice Holland Crow.
Janina Cunillo.
Andrew Metcalf Obar Culver.
Jiwon Stephanie Shin.
Ellery Dolan Curtis.
Zoe Dayton.
Elijah Thompson Siz.
Christopher Damon.
Fulia Denise Dahl.
Noah Daniel.
Bryce Daniel.
Blake Doherty.
Blake Sidney Danziger.
Dylan Pollard Davis.
Connor McAdams Davis.
Georgina Rhodes Davis.
Ethan L. Davis.
Kristen Alexander James Dawkins.
Joshua A. Davis.
Caitlin Russell Deeren.
Crystal De La Cruz.
Matthew Morneau De La Rue.
Bailey Bauer Dieter.
Emery Demir.
Jacob Wesley Dell.
Claire Jean Ding.
Bora Demiral.
Laura Catherine Dernbach.
Patrick Stone Dennis.
William Hadley Dietrich.
Jane MQ DeRoja.
Jihan Aliyah Diaz.
Luca Antonio Leguaricar de Leo.
Allison Francis Dickstein.
Addison C. Dick.
Rava Dixit.
Daniel Mark DePietro.
Robert Kearns Doherty.
Madeline Rose Dorr.
June Dong.
Amanda Elise Donald Phillips.
Catherine Douglas.
Lauren Dorsey.
Jolie Drake.
Margaret Mary Doyle.
Grant Rome Dumanian.
Sanjana Dugar.
Lily Marilyn Durbin.
Jack Joshua Dunn.
Evan Alexander Duino.
Akena Mark Duraku.
Clark Merritt Eastman Pinto.
Christian Elizabeth Ealer.
Sophie Edelman.
William Eaton.
Ty Godfrey Ekern.
Caleb Atwell Edmondson.
Savannah Lorraine Eller.
Chantel Elias.
Angus John Michael Emmett.
Ryan Neal Ellis.
Elsa Ann Erickson.
Grayson Edward Ergenbright.
Owen Matthew Eskandari.
Michael James Ernst.
Maylene Kajihara Ferrethold.
Matthew Robert Evans.
Derek Ryan Faith.
Maeve Kathleen Fairbanks.
Sarah Robin Foxon.
Connor Ian Faley.
Brandon Fang.
Max Julian Feingold.
Justin Tyler Ferguson.
Charles Sanders Fenn.
Margaret Elizabeth Ferris.
Joshua Miguel Ferrer.
Abby Fitzpatrick.
Sorry. Max Finkelstein.
John Paul Flores.
James Decatur Fleming.
Jessica Ann Forsey.
Thomas Flynn.
Haley Patricia Fox.
William H. Forland.
Laura Chari Francisco.
Clay C. Foy.
Zakiah Morgan Fry.
Matthew Timothy Freitas.
William Gerhard Froelich.
Samantha Emily Freed.
Lucy Fu.
Even Seming Fu.
Thomas Jacob Fida.
Alejandra Fuentes Vasquez.
Roberto Alexander Gabriel Brito.
Caitlin Louise Gable. Liza Mallory Gallant.
Adele Dupre Galgon.
Suchin Ganesh.
Rachel Todd Gamby.
William Brad Gano Jr.
Matthew T. Gannon Jr.
Ashley Ruby Garcia.
Binhan Gao.
Vasavi Lalitha Garimela.
Daniel Garcia Barnett.
Sophia Gao.
Margaret Wilcliffe Jared.
Margaret Ann Gellert.
Soleil Gaylord.
Elian Njoke Gerard.
Anne George.
Samuel Getz.
William Hayden Garish.
Grace Maria Gibbs.
Gabriel Giever.
Elisa Juliet Hiraso.
Elizabeth Darden Gilday.
Jeff Maina Gitahi.
Olivia Helen Gish.
Anna Scott Glasgow.
Sage Gitlin.
Shayla Rosa Goldberg.
Isabel Glennon.
Ethan Paul Goldman.
Clara May Goldberger.
Ryan Joseph Goldstein.
Maria Natalie Goldman.
Olivia Gomez.
Sanjana Goli.
Zachary Strasser Gottesman.
Riley Gordon.
Ariana Gregg.
John Williams Gordeau.
Jasper Green.
Catherine Nicole Goyette.
Olivia Alexandra Gresham.
Addison Janae Green.
Katarina Elena Gurgic.
Timothy Truxton Greenhouse.
Charles Gruber.
Sophia Barbara Greschuk.
Justin Gu.
Anna Griffith.
Pranit Gupta.
Darren Gu.
August White Guskowski.
Cameron Gage.
Joseph Andrew Giorda.
Michael K. Guptill.
Jeremy Hadfield.
Anthony Lee Guzman.
Paul Witherell Hager.
Brandon Jim Guzman.
Sophia Haley.
Wilson Eliza Hafner.
Kayla Grace Hammond.
Jeho Francis Hahn.
Christopher Wendell Hammond.
Neha Dabin Hamin.
Malcolm Hanchett.
Grace Kirsten Hammershall.
Jacob Willem Hansen.
Gregory Hahn.
Tamina Hassan.
Bailey N. Hand.
Vivek Diraj Hazari.
Joseph Bennett Hardwick.
Isabella Rose Ferrari Headley.
Emma Helena Hazard.
Wesley Heim.
Rona He.
Andrew Hemelt.
Joseph Heffernan.
Eduardo Hernandez Lopez.
Eliza Helmers.
Jessica Hernandez.
Nina Herman.
Samuel Philip Hessler.
Erica Hernandez.
Daniel Lockwood Hinks.
Lizzie Hernandez Videa.
Sylvia Camille Hip.
William Samuel Thomas Heilman.
Jonah W. Hirsch.
Manuel Lionel Enhosa.
Elizabeth Shepard Bradford Hobbs.
Alexander Hirsch.
Henry Huntington Hobbs.
Melissa Hung Lopez.
William Thomas Hobbs III.
Lauren Hodis.
Avon Jocelyn Holland.
Julia Beth Hoffman.
B. Hollier.
Victoria Liv Hoffner. Emery Allen Holzer.
Laura Eugenie Holland.
Emily Hopkinson.
Keliadair Lee Goleskia Holmes.
Helen Claire Horan.
Catherine Augusta Hoover.
Ian Ho.
Amelia Robinson Hoppy.
Ian Shu.
Anna Marie Horn.
Caitlin Huang.
Christopher Huang.
Benjamin Hunt.
Sophia Quinyin Huang.
Thomas Connor Hutto.
Yeling Hu Ah.
Nathan Huang.
Joseph Huang.
Rose Madison Iannuzzi.
Samantha Heisa.
Sarul Ijilmurin.
Stephen Charles Ianova.
Patrick Iratakunda.
Ariel Elizabeth Oshemi Esedanu.
Wells Islin.
Tanvir Islam.
Kira Jackson.
Sabrina Sonia Jane.
Caroline Wallace James.
Angeline Priyanka Grace Janyumala.
Valentina Haramijo.
Jacob Harrison Jasquith.
Bobby Jefferson II.
Abigail Jewett.
Kelly Jang.
Julian Justin Jimenez.
Linda Jimenez.
Hannah Jinks.
Isaiah David Marvel Johnson.
Kai C. Johnson.
Catherine Maylee Lockhead Johnson.
Garrett Ming Johnston.
Margaret Mary Florence Johnston.
Caroline Kenyon Jones.
Harrison Lair Jones.
Julie Ann Jones.
Abraham Jew.
Lucas Cole Joshi.
Chris Jean.
Aria Kadia.
Jonah Robert Call.
Jonah Kausner Kirshen.
Jae Hyun Kang.
Peter Canham.
David Cantor.
Pahola Karapatiki.
John Foro Kariuki.
Wiley Kasai.
Nithya Kasarla.
Elena Kasuri.
Molly Jane Katarinsik.
Madeline Katona.
Matthew David Kaufman.
John Keene.
Sarah Emma Kay.
Benjamin V. Keeter.
Spencer Keating.
Veronica Kelly.
Caitlin Nicole Kelly.
Ariana Mahin Khan.
Bibaswan Kadka.
Hana Akikelo Kedana Mariana.
Atya T. Khan.
H.K. Kim.
Dewani Corral.
Jacob Kim.
Brendan Killarney.
Kyung Tae Kim.
Isaac Kim.
Yuna Kim.
Junhui Kim.
Latrell Bo Kirkledee.
Michelle Jehi Kim.
Alexis Klimaszewski.
Lauren Ashley Nicole King.
Isabel Dupre Coker.
Thomas Andrew Knight.
David Igor Kogan.
Nicholas Helmut Coney.
Anna Frederica Kern.
Nathaniel Michael Koidal.
Sarah Korb.
Sofika R. Corondla.
Maya Laurel Kana.
Dionysius Gabriel Ritterband Katsonis.
Margaret Catherine Coates.
Anush Tarla Krafian.
Joseph Kramer.
Jack Chrysler.
Cade Kretschmar.
Matthew Sidney Cravan.
Sophia Ruth Kritz.
Aleka Anund Kreutsch.
Tara Grace Krumenacker.
Bieshi Kumsa.
Tinatenda Keith Koretsu.
Eunice Kwan.
Sophia Hyunjin Kwan.
Sophie Noel Kylander.
Daniela Kyle.
Kira Jasmine Lascola.
Talalula Sarah Laguda.
Daniel Lamb.
Irene Lamb.
Abigail Milliken Lambert.
Gustavo Saleh Lammers Shehaji.
Arye Zamor Londa.
Lucy Rose Langenberg.
Zachary Logan Laporte.
Dante Joseph Larocco.
Chad Hunter Lassiter.
Susanna Ellen Laster.
Elizabeth Rita Laurencio.
Samuel Laron.
Hannah May LeBaron.
Aaron Ivan Lee.
Brian Lee.
Camila Mai Lee.
Jenna Suyan Lee.
Sung Yoon Lee.
Samuel Lefkowitz.
Jacob Lefkowitz.
Alexander Cookman Lair.
Griffin Lehman.
Anthony Linkowitz.
Mia Liko.
Peter Donald Lutz.
Christian Joseph Lasser.
Ashley Lewis.
Gabrielle Louise Levy.
Yunyun Lee.
Amanda Yao Lee.
Anjali Lichtenberg.
Isabella May Leechen.
Akeem Lindo.
Nicole Kristen Lydell.
Emily Yun Lipset.
Thomas Zuwang Lingard.
Charles William Little.
Alice Woodbury O'Leary Little.
Joanna Liu.
Isha Sethi Liu.
Liu Wen Zing.
Liu Di Huing.
Lily Lyndall Lockhart.
Spencer Ryan Locke.
Clyde Sebastian Logue.
Sarah Kiana Lockwood.
Jeffrey Lacerdo.
Jocelyn Stephanie Lopez Bonilla.
Connie Liu.
Brian Liu. Thank you. Ethan Adner.
Simon Andrew Agnew.
Bill Y. Chang.
Kieran Ahern.
Gia Kim.
Valeria Denise Andrade Solorzano.
Allison Ruth Walken.
Garrett David Andreen.
Cynthia Calloway Lucas.
Ethan Finn Alwis.
Logan Zachary Lukenda.
Unive Avendaño.
Adri Rose Luster.
Sofia Blachova.
Mary Catherine Lutz.
Ashley Elizabeth Brown.
Eddie Rayhan Ma.
Grayson Campbell.
Emma Lynn Macion.
Jason Carpio.
Gregory Gishuki Masharia.
Dylan Chan.
Jalen Mackey.
Ian Cruz.
Emma Christina McTaggart.
Joshua De La Cruz.
Everett Lyman Magnuson.
Ivana Devich.
Eritrika Malakar.
Gustavo Gil.
Rohith Mandavili.
Clara Beatrice Hahn.
Rohini Mandel.
Isaac Mitchell Hanover.
Robert Mangus.
Noor Bassam Osama Hayek.
Abigail Bowie Mans.
Shane C. Hewitt.
Guilherme Marinho Ramos.
Ashanti Hill.
Clifford Harrison Markel.
Maxwell Julian Shaw Holden.
Olivia Lee Marquis.
Carlota Hopkins Guerra.
Anna Wilson Martin.
Nate Houston.
Judith Martinez.
Adia Nilesh Kocha.
Tucker V. Martino.
Aluafemi Tolua Kola Jibudu.
William Whitney Marks.
Carolina Lago Pena Maya.
Zoe Davenport Marzi.
Kevin Daniel Larkin.
Alicia Brianna Massey.
Benjamin J. Martin.
Konzumteto Masugu.
Basil Bernardino Montañese.
Gregor Mateiji Sarmento.
Robert Barrett Noon III.
Mila McCarran.
Carter Cothney Person.
Alana McClements.
Grace Q.
Landon Zachary McDermott.
Suraj Shrivats.
Billy McFadden.
Tyler Gabriel Stern.
Keegan Thomas McHugh.
Luis Daniel Verdi.
Mary Kate Grace McIntyre.
Derek Paul Wilson.
Benjamin Seabury McLean.
Abigail D. Wilson.
Edward William McManus.
Yuton Xia.
Shadi Mervarzan.
Dwinchin Ivy Yen.
Francesca Claire Meldrum.
Andrew Yang.
Sydney Bryn Merrill.
John Mwangi Mbogwa.
Oiku Zumra Mete.
Ryan Arthur McCann.
Augustin John Meyer.
Emily Elizabeth McConnell.
Anna Scott Miele.
Jason Ryan McFadden.
Catherine A. Miller.
Blake McGill.
Sophia Ann Miller.
Cleophas Maxwell McIntosh.
Tracy Elizabeth Mills.
Hugh McKenzie.
Sarah E. Minnick.
Claire Therese McMahon.
Cole Minsky.
George Howard McNulty.
Gabrielle Mitchell.
Daivat Mitesh Mehta.
Jocelyn Bianca Mixon.
Mon Bohan.
Dominique Mobley.
Gregory Renee Mesa.
Justin Mon.
Jalinda Mikael Medalus.
Jessica N. Montoya.
Jasper Baton Meyer.
Chelsea Moore.
Skylar James Miklas.
John Moreland.
Catherine Elizabeth Miller.
Jacob C. Morris.
Madeline Mills.
Anna Mae Mott.
Lucy Atalanta Meany.
Jacqueline Anna Muley.
Shyla Nasreen Milan.
Tudor Adrian Montiano.
Amrita Misha.
Wilson Allen Moraine.
Anand Milan Mittal.
Christian Coulter Myers.
Francis A. Mize.
Jay Nair.
Emma Rose Moffett.
Zachary Nathan.
Carolyn Leslie Mollenkoff.
Carter Nelson.
Cecilia Monin.
Cameron Grace Newcomb.
Jason Carl Lewis Montima.
Rebecca Nickel.
Ethan Youngjae Moon.
Madikit Shea Nobili.
Maria Paula Mora Bolaños.
Samuel Edward O'Brien.
Connor Patrick Morris.
Maggie O'Gorman.
Naya Jameen Morris.
Amelia Page Ockert.
Michael Moyo.
Jasmine Jimin O.
Talia Pearl Mullen.
Indalaku Okolo.
Ryan Kiyoshi Chan Marikawa.
Ezgi Okutan.
Justin Bain Murray.
Riley Olinger.
Kuzi Vokwashe Adrian Mushwangwa.
Felipe Esteban Opaso Sarabia.
Sana Sharish Nadkarni.
Amina Ospan.
Megan Nalamachu.
Andrew Palermo.
Ahmed Navid.
Andrada Pantelimon.
Mia Nelson.
Phoebe Mie Park.
Seda Rose Nichols Worley.
Catherine Parnell.
Ardell Ning.
Mark Richard Perino.
Minerva Z. Nong.
Shashank Patel.
Selena Aswad Noor.
Eli Pattison.
Drew O'Connor.
Andrew Ross Paxton.
Eric Hallbright Ock.
Jinyi Pung.
Lottie Odnoga.
Marin Lam Panel.
Yuri O.
Christian Perales.
Osesley Daniel Oluwashewun Okorua.
John Petrich.
Jared Olbrez.
Charles William Pike.
Amanda Margot Olson Dufour.
Haley Piper.
Emma Carolyn Osman.
Brooke Plunka.
Camila Zedin Osada.
Ashley Post.
Ernest Charles Paulshow III.
Nandini Nutaki Prasad.
Nina Paripovich.
William Wells Perliman.
Camden Skylar Parker.
Stephanie Ann Prophet Sanchez Heel.
Jackson Donald Paralisi.
Brian Provo.
Anish Patel.
Nathan James Pucci.
Manuel Ivan Patino.
John Pupil.
Matthew Paul.
Jennifer Hongru Chan.
Carson Andrash Peck.
Victoria Reed Quint.
Motibi William Penkakana.
Rachel Esther Quist.
Elina Lorraine Pepper.
Sierra Catherine Rainville.
Anastasia Cecilia Perez Ternent.
Kimberly Rangel Campos.
Matthew Oliver Pickering.
Lucy Ranieri.
Talia Devora Sakowitz Bakunis.
Russell Rappaport.
Zyla Whitney Rose Pinger.
Michael Allen Reese.
Max Paivo.
Ranjan Ragmi.
Emily L. Pommier.
Maxwell Garrig Reeferson.
Keshav Prakash.
Ian Reinecke.
Paul Henry Prestegard.
Ana Fernanda Reyes.
Alexander Nicholas Pritzker.
Peter McCleary Reynolds.
Colin Burling Prince.
Emery Lee Ream.
George Lawson Prince.
Janique Richards.
Dave Punani.
Felicia Ann Ragucci.
Catherine Ellie Putz.
Connor Andrew Richmond.
Melanie Quintero.
William Scott Ritter.
Dina Rabudi.
Sadie Lisme Rodoli Contreras.
Arthur Raines.
Auntie Hannah Roberts.
Reshma Rajasingh.
Renee Rodriguez.
Maxwell Stock Ranger.
Luke Smith Roline.
Bryn Elizabeth Rankin.
Daria Romanova.
Caitlin Ray.
Maria Rudnitsky.
Charlie Parker Reeder.
Jose Armando Rosario.
Estelle Irene Reeves.
Maya Jaron Round.
Mary Sophia Reich.
Miles Rubens.
Carson Reich.
Ali Nasser Safadine.
Caitlin R. Reisman.
Richard Timmons Santry.
Laurel Ellen Reynolds.
Jordan Thomas Sands.
Alicia Kanaya Reza.
Evan Bradley Schaefer.
Sasha Nicole Rich.
Eric Shemich.
Beckett Richardson.
Abigail Crane Schill.
Tanner Grayson Riley.
Alexander Schmidt.
Mary Grace Rittler.
Matthew Schnell.
Alex Rodriguez.
Miles William Schreck.
Jeremy Esteban Rodriguez.
Nicole Ann Schwartz.
Sarah Rodriguez Hernandez.
Grace Ramsey Scott.
Kylie Jane Romeros.
Connor Logan Seeley.
Grace Elizabeth Rourke.
Sunena Sekaran.
Elias Rosenberg.
Laurel Semprabon.
Catherine Margaret Roselle.
Umer Shabazz.
Grace Weeks Rubin.
Madeline Diana Sharp.
Sebastian Saker.
Yi Feng Shen.
Isabella Santucci.
Grant Sebastian Shobar.
7 Diana Sassano.
Julia Rose Siegel.
Peter Paul Scalise IV.
Filomena Texera Silva.
Madeline Kate Schaefer.
Arie David Sean Simons.
John Allen Schifino Jr.
Alexandra Hudson Simpson.
Maxwell B. Schindel.
Uday Singh.
Nathan McCord Schneider.
Sophia Grace Scalarood.
Nicholas Schuller.
Wesley Ross Slackert.
Brooklyn Elizabeth Schrader.
Gabriella Kalani Smith.
Rena Schwartz.
Catherine McPherson Smith.
William Garrett Scott.
Ashley Song.
Turianan Sitohul.
Scarlett Claire Robertson Suter.
Mia Gabrielle Sainer.
Quinn Alexander Sprout.
Samuel William Selleck.
Ben Isaac Squarer.
Shelby Rose Sexton.
Edward Elliott Stabnick.
Anupam Prasad Sharma.
泽华颂
Veronica Nicole Shea.
Emma Elizabeth Stager,
Sachin Shiva.
William Christopher Stedman,
Margaret Crosby Shufflebarger.
Lily Caston Stern,
Sean Sikora.
Jack Henry Stokesbury,
Lily Anna Simon.
Amanda Marie Stover,
Sean R. Simons.
Rory Noel Stewart,
Chithra Singareddy.
Anna Sumbo,
Santosh Sivakumar.
Samuel Sapatapone,
Nathaniel C. Skinner.
Christopher Chue Sykes,
Jai Kieran Smith.
Selena Haluna Tala,
Maxine Evelyn Smith.
Annie Tan,
Ga Young Song,
Harrison Farrell Taylor,
Anya Isabel Sorensen,
Harish Tekriwal,
Dylan Spector,
Chloe Sarah Temsamani,
Zachary Spicer,
Cameron Rose Thibault,
Arjun Srinivasan,
Jacqueline Helen Thompson,
Jonas Stakaliunas,
David Ambrose Tierney,
Lily Francis Steckel,
Macy Alexandra Toppin,
Ian Drummond Steele,
Caroline Ruth Turnquist,
Nathaniel Chaim Stornelli,
Lauren Tran,
Timothy Strang,
Aaron Mark Troner,
Tan Lee Sue,
Rylan Barkley Tribush,
Emily Sun,
Edward Cooper Tuckerman,
Colson William Sutherland,
James Mano Turner,
Samuel Joseph Tabrisky,
Devanshi Udeshi,
Scott Jason Tamkin,
He Rin
Allison Hutton Tannenbaum,
Eric Andrew Urbank,
Catherine Joan Taylor,
Hannah Tosley Utter,
Max Julian Wright Telemack,
Ben Vogley,
Tatum Grace Teodori,
Adam Carey Vandenbush,
Vaish Thirvyaraja,
Jack Finnegan Vasu,
Rihanna Nisa Tony,
Sergio Vasquez,
Devin Egan Toribio,
James Robert Verschleiser,
Mist Thormutstutzer Gunwalt,
Vlado Wojdanowski,
Sydney Elizabeth Toll,
Trey Vyas,
Vivian Knock Tran,
Lily Margaret Waddell,
Ethan Trepka,
Charles William Wade,
Edward Hamilton Truex VI,
John Frederick Wagner,
Donia Tung,
Brandon Wells Wallace,
Lucille May Turnipseed,
Shelley Wang,
Agnes Chakoti Ugoji,
Jasmine Tyler Thompson Ward,
Dhruv Uppal,
Lila Kayam Watts,
Eleanor Summers Erdang,
Jessica Weil,
Varun Vadineni,
Michael Ajay Weir,
Renato Cesar Valentim,
Jennifer Wendelken,
Kenna Marguerite Van Stein,
Addison Keen Wessel,
Mathis McCrary Vaughn,
Una Andaneus Westvold,
Kunal Verma,
Andrew James White,
Maxwell Charles Vicinelli,
Shelby Wilkinson,
Ling Nguyen Thuy Vung,
Jenna Lynn Winfrey,
Ryan Walland,
Mary Catherine Winters,
Charles Garrison Wade,
Abigail Wiseman,
Rebecca Dulcie Wade.
Crystal Wong.
Jackson T. Walker.
Aziz Woodward.
Alex Z. Wang.
Mike Allen Wu.
Sophie Wong.
Kevin G. Xiao.
Akia Giovanni Watts.
Harshit Yadav.
Virginia Alice Way.
Timothy Yang.
John Weingart.
Carlos Yepes.
Sarah Jingy Wen.
Jessica Yin.
Jacob Wierzinski.
McAllister Conley Young.
Kelly Westcamper.
Jae Un Yu.
Campbell Catherine Whalen.
Cindy Yuan.
Pierce Sebastian Whitcomb.
Camila Zakowitz.
Elizabeth Wilson.
Jacob William Zarkauer.
Veronica P. Winham.
Cooper Zebrak.
John Minor Wisdom.
Carly Zellner.
Alex Wang.
Caitlin Elizabeth Zeezer.
Francesca Mariana Alejandra Wood Mancia.
Connie Beimeng Zhang.
Zoe Mirabel Wartzman.
Nathan Zhang.
Xiao Yi Wu.
Sam Zhang.
Ohad Yahalom.
Wendy Zhang.
Julian Ikaza Barzayo.
Alina Yu Xuanzhang.
David Yin.
Rosie Shenrou Zhong.
Sarah Hyunjung Yu.
Noah Ariel Benedek Zhukovsky.
Elaine Young.
Sydney Elisa Ziegler.
Katrina Lucy Wingyan Yu.
Elliot Arnold Zornitsky.
In absentia, Cormac Zacher.
Eleanor Zort.
Ranian Zaman.
Idia Ayansekian.
Kelly Quinn Zielman. Allison Zhang. Austin Michael Zhang. Guhui Zhang. Nicholas F. Zhang. Tianhao Zhang. Yijin Zhang. Karen Zhang. Brandon Zhao. Benjamin Scott Ream Zide. Haley Suzanne Zierden. Alexander Evan Zurich. Elizabeth Marie Bauman. Cole Roland. Edmund Aduse Poku.
Victoria Xiao.
Will the head marshal please raise all the graduating students?
Graduates, congratulations. It has been an eventful and somewhat staggering journey to this day, a journey that has led you to this most joyful and celebratory moment. Cherish this moment with all your hearts as you thank your families, your friends, your teachers, and your classmates for being with you and standing by you, both at Dartmouth and throughout your lives. Today, I'm supposed to give you that one nugget of wisdom that will unlock answers to life's toughest questions. But instead, I'm going to go in a different direction, and I'm going to focus on the questions. After all, it was the great 18th century French philosopher Voltaire who advised us to, and I quote, "judge a man by his questions rather than his answers," unquote. Now, I trust many of you spent the last week looking back at your 4 years at Dartmouth, wondering how they could have possibly gone so quickly. It probably seems like yesterday that you were gathered together at your first class meeting, eager to embrace the full Dartmouth experience and engage in all its storied traditions. And perhaps you remember the gist of my remarks to you that day, or maybe not. As you began your Dartmouth journey, I shared what it meant for you to become part of an academic community, a community of scholars united by their dedication to inquiry and truth. And I told you that your first order of business in becoming a member of such a community would be learning how to ask questions. Now, that was quite a departure from what you had experienced in school up until that point. Prior to coming to Dartmouth, answers were the thing. Answers were what schooling was all about. You studied, you took a test, you got a grade based on the number of answers you got right. But when we gathered together in Lead Arena that day, I told you that an equally important part of your Dartmouth education would be learning to ask questions. Questions that are sometimes deep and complex, without clear-cut answers. And perhaps you weren't quite sure of what I meant at the time, but you would soon find out. Just 18 months into your time at Dartmouth, the world was turned upside down by a global pandemic. One of the most complex challenges we've ever been forced to confront as a global society. And in those early days, there were no answers, no playbook to follow. As a society, it was ultimately our ability to ask the right questions that enabled us to chart a path forward. How did the disease spread? Who was most vulnerable, and how could we protect them? How could we create vaccines to arm our immune systems? With questions in hand, we were able to gather evidence, apply reasoning, debate with those who disagreed, and ultimately determine a collective course of action. You're entering a world with some deep troubles. War, inequity, global warming, gun violence, a mental health crisis exacerbated by the pandemic. These are thorny issues for which there are no easy answers. But with the right questions, you can see your way through. So my message to you today is simple. Go into the world not with all the answers, but with all the questions. And as you do, there are two that I hope you will always keep at the top of your list. First, no matter what issue before you, ask whomever holds a different point of view why they think the way they do. What I'm saying is it's not enough to just let every voice speak. You should seek out alternative viewpoints and consider them with an open mind. Seek them out. And second, keep on asking what you want to accomplish in life. 50 years ago, President Kennedy told the great class of '72 at their commencement that their undergraduate years were the time when they were to have sorted out their goals for life. And he expressed his concern that too few of them had made a commitment to a path forward. Now, in most matters, I agree with my esteemed predecessor, but in this case, I do not. Graduates, you need not have already determined your life's goals. Figuring out that path will be your life's work. Your academic journey culminating today has been full of life lessons. but none more important than this. There is no problem too big to be solved, no aspiration too great to be achieved, no obstacle too tough to overcome, provided you begin by asking the right questions. Class of 22, you are mighty, and we are proud. May your lives be filled with health, hope, and happiness always, and may you forever keep Dartmouth close to your hearts. Congratulations.
Will the audience please rise and join Brianna Boland in the singing of 2 verses of the Alma Mater.
Dear old Dartmouth, give a rose for the college on the hill, for the lone pine above her, and the loyal ones who love her. Give a rose with a will, for the sons of old Dartmouth, for the daughters of Dartmouth, though round the good old earth they roam, her spell on them remains. They have the still north in their hearts, the hill winds in their veins, and the granite of New Hampshire in their muscles and their brains, and the granite of New Hampshire in their muscles and their brains. Dear old Dartmouth, set a watch, lest the old traditions fail. Stand as sister stands by brother, dare a deed for the old mother. Greet the world from the hills with a hail, for the sons of old Dartmouth, for the daughters of Dartmouth. Around the world they keep for her their old undying faith. They have the still north in their soul, the hill winds in their breath, and the granite of New Hampshire is made part of them till death, and the granite of New Hampshire is made part of them till death.
Congratulations, class of 22. The audience is requested to be seated while the platform group, faculty, and graduates march out.
Let's go through the fancy question. We're going to start just a little bit. Let's see now.